Different's great, but being different for the sake of being different, I'm not a big fan of, right? If you just want to be different for the sake of
technology increased, I would hide behind it.
And you start to hear some of their challenges, and yes,
because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives you. What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Master Connector Show. I'm your co-host, Rob Genovesi, and I want to say Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Hope you had great holidays. I hope everything went well. We haven't seen you. We haven't been with you in a couple of weeks, so it's good to be back. Welcome back. Yolanda, ever the great supporter. Thank you for coming, Yolanda. We got a great show for you today. Listen, I've been kind of out of for a couple of weeks. I moved my house. We had people over for the holidays. It's been a great, positive, but chaotic few weeks, past month or so, but it's good to be back here. It's good to be back with you. And I'm excited to talk to our guest today. And listen, we have many great guests coming here every single week. We hope you are joining us every single Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to see who's coming up, go to masterconnector.show. We have got a roster that is spreading out through the rest of the year, just about. Steve's doing a great job of meeting excellent people. We want to bring you amazing people that are going to share their experience, their skill set, what they've learned, their story, to help you, inspire you, to teach you, to help you feel like, look, we're in this together. Because at the Master Connector Show, we're all about creating community and building connections, and we hope you are doing that. Today's show, LinkedIn for Humans, is going to be a great show because, to be honest, I spend all my time marketing on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my favorite place after working on some of the other social media platforms, doing other things. I have found out that LinkedIn is one of the greatest places, but some people don't understand it and are going, I don't know. It's social media. I go, it's not social media. It's networking, right? But we're going to get into that a little bit later. Listen, my co-host and I, we go back 26, 27 years. Steve and I started out, we're two introverts, two former shy guys who became connectors, and Steve is the master connector. I'm going to bring him up now because we're going to kick this thing off. Steve Spiro, come on stage. What's up, Steve?
Happy New Year. Hey, buddy. Happy New Year, man. It is so good to be here. Oh, man, I missed being with you. And yeah, we're going to have an incredible show. So just appreciate you, Rob. Thanks for the last show of the year, taking the reins on that one. You did a great job. Got to listen to it after. Fantastic. But what's going on, friends? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct. And yes, happy New Year. Hopefully 2025 has started off well. It's the year. 2025 is the year to thrive. Let's go. So blessed to be with you. And I feel like, honestly, it's been forever. Like between taking that last episode off and then not having a few episodes through the holidays, man, crazy. But listen, as Rob alluded to, right, LinkedIn is more than just a platform. It's your personal landing page where you can resonate, educate, differentiate, and truly communicate. How you like that? Those are rhymes there, right? I'm a rapper, I'm a poet, and I don't even know it, right? You can truly communicate who you are, right? I love speaking about this on stage, and because it's a game changer for how we connect and build relationships in today's professional world. Your profile should act as a mirror, reflecting, your values, your expertise, and, unique voice in a way that captivates and educates your audience. The way we engage on LinkedIn should mirror, how we do things face to face as well, right? In meetings and with authenticity and empathy and genuine curiosity. People crave human connection, and LinkedIn is a perfect platform to build those connections with the same warmth and professionalism you'd bring to a handshake or a coffee meeting, right? One of the most powerful lessons I've learned is to approach every interaction with high intention and low expectation. As my good friend Scott Schilling often says, it's not enough to say, I want to help. You must actually show up and help by offering insights and meaningful support without expecting anything in return, right? Big part of the pillars of the show is being others focused, being a go-giver, right? And so that's super crucial when you're out there connecting and networking. When you lead with an open hand, you can create opportunities to build trust, foster collaboration, and deepen relationships in a way that truly matters, right? LinkedIn, when approached with a heart of a connector, that's what we're about, the Connector Show, Master Connector Show, it becomes a space not just for transaction, but for transformation. So cool out there. Love that. Transaction to transformation, both personally and professionally. So if you're ready for my man, Mr. Robbie G, to introduce our incredible guest, type in the hashtag. Remember, we're participants, LinkedIn participants, not lurkers. So let's go ahead and get in there. And I know Yolanda would appreciate you. Happy New Year, Yolanda. Let's get in the comments, type in let's go, but hand it to you, sir. Right.
All right. Thanks, Steve. I'm excited. Again, like I was saying earlier, it's going to be a great show. And it's a great way to kick off our show, first show of the new year. Bill McCormick is the founder of DigiSales, a digital selling training company. Bill first started using digital sales techniques after he and his wife, Sue, started their own promotional product business. By using social platforms, especially LinkedIn, they were able to build a very successful business. He then began to help other business owners, entrepreneurs, and sales professionals how to use LinkedIn to increase sales, which is something everybody wants to do, right? He has conducted training for companies worldwide and specializes in helping to make LinkedIn human. I love that. Explaining the platform in easy to understand ways. Bill resides in upstate New York with his wife, Sue, and their pets, where they enjoy golfing, me too, kayaking, and spending time with their kids and grandkids. Please welcome to the show, Bill McCormick. What's up, Bill?
Hey, Rob. Hey, Steve. Great to see you. Just saw my wife put in Let's Go. She's listening, so you're going to get the abridged version
There she
today.
is.
I'll have to watch myself. The
What's up,
boss is
Sue?
watching. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Happy New Year, guys. Great to be with you. Thanks for having me as the first show for 2025. Can't wait.
We are so blessed. We couldn't think of a more perfect person to get in the show with us and kick off 2025, and a topic of the humanistic aspect, right? Because we're seeing a lot of this these days. I've done, as you know, did a lot of posts leading up to the show, and my last one today was about ditching the pitch. Man, it's time to ditch the pitch. Let's talk about being human, right? I mentioned in that post, you don't like go on a date or even ask someone on a date and get married. Like you gotta kind of get to know each other, right? So let's get in there and let's be human, right? So but appreciate you, Samuel Camus on here. Love that. Transaction to transformation. I appreciate that. And of course, Yolanda is welcoming you. So let's dig into this, Bill. Let's get this party started. So community, if you're ready, type in hashtag profile. Let's get in the comments and connect. Again, we love your participation, questions, comments. Love it. Tell us where you're tuning in from, your city, your state. We are all about connection, right? Because you can get in the comments. Again, we don't know if you're on here unless you actually identify yourselves in the comments. It's like, I know LinkedIn audio is a great thing as well, but you could see who's on there. With LinkedIn Live, you can't. So get in there, and then you guys can connect with each other, right? Sue, connect with Yolanda. Samuel, connect with Sue or Yolanda, right? And whoever else is on here. I know there's some of you, so get in the comments so we know you're here. But anyway, let's get into it. Profile, right? What are the top 3 elements, Bill, every LinkedIn profile must have to truly resonate and stand out, if you would, sir?
Well, so thanks. So let's first talk about the fact that LinkedIn is not just one platform, right? I liken LinkedIn to an American football team, which isn't one team. It's actually 4 teams. I was thinking today it could actually be 5 teams, right? So you have the offensive team, the defensive team, the special teams, the often forgot coaching team, and the support team, right? The trainers, the physical therapists, the marketing people, all those. Well, LinkedIn is the same way. It's not just one platform. So why are you using LinkedIn? Because your why to why you're using LinkedIn is going to determine how you set your profile. But let's approach it from a sales and networking standpoint just for our talk today. So the 3 things that you have to do is it needs to be not about you. It needs to be about the value you provide your ideal clients, right? So I say a value-centric profile. We need to move from a resume, make it a resource that people can go to and find out more. And you said the 4 things that I teach about profile: resonate, educate, differentiate, communicate. So making sure that when somebody lands on it, it's your ideal client or your ideal marketing partner, that when they land it, they go, okay, yes, this is somebody I want to know more. I want to look a little bit further, right? So making sure your images are up to date. Your background banner image is a billboard. Steve, if a billboard company came to you today and said, hey, we're going to give you a free billboard on 287 right by the White Plains exit. Would you just put a nice picture of New York City up there? No, you would advertise your company, right? You would advertise and offer. That's how you have to look at that background banner image. It's a billboard for you. So making sure that you're putting that value first. And then rather than educate, right? Or, I'm sorry, rather than sell, we want to educate. We don't want to be out there telling people how great our company is and how great our product and service is, which that's true. You should believe that. But here's the thing. Everybody says they have the best product. Everybody says they have the best service. Think about I'll ask your listeners to think about the last bad experience you had with a company. Their customer service stunk. It was horrible. Go look at their website. My guess is somewhere on there, they say they're the best in customer service and they've got the awards to prove it, right? Everybody says it. When everybody says something, it doesn't mean anything, right? So what we want to do is educate them. What can we teach them about what we do and the problems we help them solve? And as I call them lean-in moments, I've got a 26-inch monitor in front of me, and sometimes I'll read something and I'll go like this. I'll lean in and go, huh. I'll have to take my glasses off because I'm going blind. But I'll look at that, and that's what we want. We want lean-in moments. We want people to read something on our profile and go, I need to know more about that. I want to read more. Right. So causing and creating curiosity is the most important thing. And then differentiating yourself, right? We don't want to compete with people. We want to show how we're different. And then the last thing I'll say is communicate. Do people know how to contact you besides sending you a direct message on LinkedIn? Is your email address fully visible? Putting it on your banner image, putting it in your about section, putting it in your experience section. Because here's the thing. There's a contact information button on the LinkedIn desktop app that's not on the mobile app. And what we know is LinkedIn's own numbers say somewhere between 65 and 85% of the people accessing LinkedIn are accessing it from the mobile app. And the mobile app's different, right? So put your email address someplace where people can find you, that if they want to know more, they can reach out, because communication is key.
There's a couple of things I want to pull out of what you said, Bill. And that was great. It was like all good stuff. If I was taking notes, if I was able to take notes right now, I'd have a full sheet already. A couple of things I want to pull out of there. Number one, as a brand builder, when you say differentiation, my ears immediately open up a little bit more. And you're right, because I think what you're saying is when people say they have the best customer service or they've been in business for 35 years, it's all great, but it's not a differentiator. People don't really hear it, right? That's what we're saying, right? The other thing, and maybe this is a pet peeve of mine, Bill, maybe you can help clear this up, whether or not it's true or it's just my stinking pet peeve. When I see somebody's LinkedIn profile photo and then I meet them on Zoom or in person and they look different because that picture was taken 20 years ago, I kind of feel like something's not right here. Is it just me?
It's not just you. It's not just you. And I tell my clients all the time, if you're LinkedIn profile picture is older than 3 years, or if you look different. So on your intro, I noticed Steve had hair, right? and so, if you have to look the same way, and Steve kind of alluded to
What
it.
do you say? I need to change my intro video then, huh?
Yeah, I think you do. But your LinkedIn profile is good, right? So during COVID, this was really a disparity, right? I would get on calls with guys and their LinkedIn profile picture was beautiful, in a suit or at least in business attire, nicely combed hair, clean shaven. And now I'm looking at the Zoom and the guy's in a hoodie with a ponytail and a full beard. And I'm like, do I have the right person?
Yeah.
You want to make sure that it matches. So it's not a pet peeve, Rob. It's something that is important. And you mentioned about differentiation, and I'm glad you brought that up, because here's how we differentiate. What is the value you provide your current clients? That's your differentiator. And careful though, not the value you think you provide to them, because I guarantee you the value you think you provide to them may be close, but it's probably not the same as the value you provide them. And how do you find the value? You have to ask them. This is a great time of year right now to have meetings with your clients, thank them for the business they gave you in 2024 and talk about what you're going to be doing in 2025. But one of the questions you can ask is, hey, Steve, Rob, thanks so much for all the work we've done together in this past year. Can I ask you a question? What's the value that I consistently provide to you that keeps you coming back for more, that keeps you engaged with me, that makes you want to use my services? And then shut up, listen, and take notes, because that's gold, because that's where you get your value proposition. That's where you can say, well, hey, you know what? I've worked with a lot of clients like you, and the value that they see me provide is this. And if that's the value those people are looking for, you're in. So
I love it.
great
Actually,
point about differentiation.
that's a great point for sure. You mentioned engage, so we're going to kind of keep this rolling here. So community, type in hashtag engage. But we were talking about profile pictures and stuff, and to me, I love being able to take things off of the platform and engage with people through face to faces. So I'm curious from your perspective, Bill. How can we bring the same authenticity and warmth to LinkedIn interactions that we naturally display in face to face meetings? Right? How do you get that?
Yeah. So it's got to start with treating the people on the other side of the profile, on the other side of the email, on the other side of the direct message, the same way we would treat them if they were sitting across the table from us, if they were at the networking room with us and we were sitting and talking to them face to face. So oftentimes, and we've seen this, it started a little before COVID, but COVID kind of really ramped it up, where people started to be very antisocial on the platform. And I say antisocial because they'll do things on the platform, whether it's a connection request, a direct message, even comments, that they would never do in person. And they think it's okay because it's marketing, for whatever reason. But you want to, first of all, put forth an authentic persona. And that has to do with the picture. It has to do with your profile. It has to do with providing value and educating people. But then when you're interacting and engaging with them and moving from the digital space to the face-to-face, you want to keep that authenticity going. And you want to continue, never mislead, never lie, never use false platitudes, which happens all the time. Hey, Rob, love what you're doing with your company, da, 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 da. Or you guys probably get this all the time. I get it, and I don't even have a podcast. Hey, I love your podcast. I help podcast companies do da, 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 da. Would love to connect with you. And I love it when that happens, because I come back and say, what podcast? And oftentimes it's crickets. Right. So as we're moving to a face-to-face, whether it's through Zoom or StreamYard or whatever you're using, or it's a phone call, or you're actually getting to meet someone face-to-face, we want to make it about them. We want to, Scott Schilling, I probably owe him royalties for that. We come in with high intentions of helping them and low expectations of what we're going to get in return. And that's, you say being others focused, the giver's gain, the idea that I'm going to come and I want to be able to help you. And if something comes of it, great, but I want to be here to help you. When we're others focused, whether we're on the platform or whether we're face to face, that's always going to help us engage and with people more authentically and build deeper relationships, which is what this is all about.
I have an experience based on what you just said, Bill. It made me laugh when you said, which podcast? I had somebody email me and say, I saw you and stated the name of the podcast, which I've heard of. And I was like, I was never on that podcast.
Yeah.
And they followed up with, hey, I didn't hear from you. And it sounded like somebody was actually speaking to me, like they typed the email and they said, I just wanted to reiterate, I loved what you were talking about on the so-and-so podcast. And I'm thinking, I was never on that particular podcast. And I thought, how many people are doing this? And does this work? Are they shooting for a numbers game? Am I one out of 1,000 people that may have been on a podcast, or I just got flattered, even though I wasn't on it, that I would reach back and say, hey, thank you. Why don't you tell me how we can help each other? Like, why do people do that?
Well, so it's all about the numbers. It's about scaling. And I'm working on an article right now for my newsletter. Less scaling, more weight, kind of, the play on everybody wants to lose weight at the beginning of the year, so what do you mean more weight? More weight in personal conversations, more weight in connecting with people, less of the scaling. So LinkedIn is a great database and that can be searched, and you can search by keywords and titles. And so you were the victim of somebody who used that and did that. I get it all the time because I have coach on my profile. So I get a lot of outreach from lead generation companies that want to get me 55 meetings a day, at no cost to me, and da 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 da. And all of this is automated, AI generated sometimes, and some of it actually violates LinkedIn's terms of use, which we won't get into. But I encourage people to look at the LinkedIn user agreement that they signed, because they agreed to not use automation to send automated messages, but they do. And we all know ROI, which is return on investment. But I wrote an article a year ago about ROM, which is the return on missing. And that's what people don't think of when they're scaling their outreach on LinkedIn, is the return on missing. I don't know what the stats of cold outreach are now. It's probably 1% or less on whatever cold outreach you do. And because they're sending thousands of messages, it's okay, because they're getting that 1%. What they don't realize is, for every 100 messages they get, they hit one, right? But they don't think about the 99 that they miss. And on LinkedIn, it's very personal, right? Because, if you reach out to me, Rob, and you're a jerk, I see your picture, I see your name, I see your company. It's all right there. And then I go block, disconnect, report.
Yeah.
I don't want that. And so it's they're taking the cold calling, the cold email scaling model, and they're bringing it into LinkedIn. And unfortunately, there are companies that are encouraging it, because they're coming out with these automated processes, and they're making money from it. And they don't care that it causes you to violate LinkedIn terms of use. They've got their
Yeah.
money. They're making their money.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, great points there. And to me, it's all about being different, sort of differentiating, because one of the things that I get on calls a lot from people I meet through LinkedIn, and of course, a lot of times they're like, okay, you could see that they're guarded, waiting for the pitch, right? And so, yeah, so I'd like to get a little tactical with you. So, I want to talk a little bit about differentiate. So, community, type in hashtag differentiate. And so, what are some practical ways to make our LinkedIn profile communicate in ways in which it makes us unique, while educating and adding value to our audience?
Well, so there's two things with differentiate. So if your profile is set up with your value forward, I think that differentiates you, because you're not saying you help close hundreds of thousands of dollars for a company, or help them save X amount of dollars. Like, again, that's things that everybody says. So when your profile is others focused, that differentiates you. But I think what really differentiates you is how you act on the platform. My wife and I this morning, we read a devotional, and it was about the parable of building on a rock or building on sand. And
Hmm.
what we have to realize is, when we're engaging with people on LinkedIn, we're building a foundation of a relationship. And if it's just transactional, it's built on sand. And when the wind and rain comes, that's going to wash that away.
Yep.
But if we're building on true relationship, if we're looking to really help people, and everybody says they want to help, we have to stop saying we want to help, and we just have to help them. We just have to do that. We build a solid foundation of a relationship that it may not turn into anything today, but when the time comes, and when the time's right, because that's the thing about sales. We can't control the sale. If we could make people buy from us, we would do it. We can't. We think we can, but we have to wait for the timing to be right. I just reconnected with a guy in the promotional products industry that I connected with and met probably in 2018 or 19. And he looked at my profile, which caused me to look at his, and I saw he changed companies. I reached out to him. Hey, Steve, hope you're doing well. See you change companies. Congratulations. Notice you looked at my profile. Is there anything I can help you with? Well, yeah, I'm looking to use LinkedIn better. Like, to cut the story short, I just got done training his team, a paid gig, and we connected. Why? Because I was just there to help him, right?
Hmm.
Even though the connection was in 2019. If we're different on the platform with how we engage with people, and we're other focused, that's going to be our differentiator. Then people are going to want to talk to us, because, as you said, people are getting on the phone. If they schedule a meeting with you, they're waiting for that other shoe to drop. When's he
And
going to
what
pitch
I've
me? When's
noticed,
she going to pitch me?
maybe this is the way I just approach networking, Bill, and tell me if I'm on the mark with this, because it's not something that somebody taught me necessarily. But when I started out in business networking several years back, face to face, in person business networking, um, it appeared to me that I didn't like being sold to. I don't want people pitching me. Nobody does, but yet most people were doing it to me, even though they didn't want that to happen to them. And so what I decided to do is what you said. Instead of saying, "How can I help you?" I took the approach that you just said. And that was when I had a face-to-face with somebody, whether it was on Zoom or in person, as somebody who builds brands, I gave them something they could use after we left that would make an impact in their business, bar none. Like, I gave away thousands of dollars of advice without them asking. And what happened was, we're talking about networking, right? We want to meet good people. Some people just want to meet lots of people. And how much time do you have? Well, you know what happened was when I did that, I would have somebody hit me up and be like, "Hey, so and so, I was talking to so and so the other day, and they said we should meet. Do you have some time you can spare?"
Yeah.
My name got passed around in circles so that people were reaching out to me. After a while, I would go on my calendar and I would have 3 or 4 face-to-faces booked that I didn't reach out. But they came from referrals from other people. So I knew they weren't just cold. They weren't trying to sell me. They said, "So and so said I should talk to you. Can we talk?" And I would do the same for them. And that worked a lot. So I appreciate you saying, stop saying, "How can I help?" and just help the people.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I don't remember who said it. I can't think. It's the gray hair. It sucks things out. But you give away so much value that you think you've given too much, and then give some more. And Jeffrey Gitomer, I think, is the one who said, everyone loves to buy and no one likes to be sold to. And
Right.
so what we have to do is be able to give insights, and not I get a lot of website people, developers, who send me videos about everything that's wrong with my website, and they think they're giving value.
Yeah.
Right. But they haven't done any work with me I don't care what's wrong with my website. You don't understand how I use my website. So you can't, but being able to get on a call and say, "Hey, listen, how can I help you? What's going on in your life that you need my help?" Most of the time when people reach out to me, it's because they need to understand LinkedIn better. And I'll say to all your listeners, if you need help to understand LinkedIn better, go to my website and you can connect with me on LinkedIn and say, "Hey, I'd like to schedule some time with you." I'm happy to give that and be the champion of how to use LinkedIn more effectively, because I know that someday that will come back to me. And so that's how we have to approach it. We have to give insights to people that they can use, so that we're seen as the thought leader, that we're seen as the person that's the go-to in that arena, so that when that need comes around, we're the first person that comes to mind.
I love that, and I'm actually listening to a book by Robert Cialdini, Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion, and he talks about in the book how by giving, right, there's a sense of obligation that people want to help you, and it's not a manipulative thing. I think the three of us, you, me, and Rob, are not doing the giving because we know it's a manipulation. We're going to get something, but we do it as the right thing to do. But as a consequence, people are going to be wanting to help you, whether they refer you, like Rob said, or say, "Hey, can I work with you?" Because it's just a big part of it. So, well, we appreciate it. Speaking of giving, we appreciate you. I'd love to see. I know you have something you'd like to offer up to the community, and the best way to reach them as we're wrapping up and coming to the bottom of the hour. So, why don't you, if you can, just share with the audience what you wanted to share.
Yeah, so I've got a new podcast coming out called the All Selling is Social podcast. I got to get the new logo put out there. And so if they go to digisalesny.com/podcast appearance, and I'll share that. I shared that link with the guys, so they'll be able to put it in the show notes. Or if you reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn, I'll send you some information on that. And basically, you can just sign up to find out when it's being released. So Steve just dropped that in the chat. So I would love to see you. I'd like you to come. I'm going to, look to have Rob and Steve both on the podcast in the near future. But it's all going to be about this whole fact that there's a social element to every sales methodology we have, and we've lost that. So much of what's happening in sales is anti-social, We have to turn that around, and we have to be more social so that we're treating people not just the way that we want to be treated, right? That's the golden rule. But we have to, once we build a relationship with someone, we then move to the platinum rule, which is treating people the way that they want to be treated. And so that's going to be the focus of the show.
Love that. And best way besides that, is that the best way you want them to reach you, or LinkedIn, or what's the best way?
LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. If you're able to send a note, say you heard me here on the show, or be ready to say that when I respond back. Because I ask everyone, if you don't send me a note, I'm going to ask you why you want to connect with me, because I want to know. So please tell me that.
Well, we really appreciate having you on the show. We're going to have you jump into the green room, but thank you again, Bill. You've been a blessing to our audience, our community. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. Thanks for all those that are watching, and please connect with me on LinkedIn, and Happy New Year, everyone. Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers. Good stuff. Well, what a great guest, Rob. Fantastic. So I know we're actually past the 30-minute hour. So I want to thank the community. Appreciate you guys. You guys are incredible. Appreciate Yolanda, especially. You're just amazing. So pumped to have you in our community, our life, and a big part of our show. Next week, episode 194, Wednesday, 1:15:25, right? So second week, or second show of this week. We're going to be speaking with Speak with Spark is the topic title, and it's Meredith Grudai, I believe. Grudai. I can't. I'll get it right before she comes on the show. But anyway, and if you're interested in being a sponsor of the show, go to masterconnector.show, or as Rob said, you can see all the cool episodes. Rob's doing a great job keeping the website up to date with all the up and coming shows as well. And by the way, if you have trouble ever getting the link to go live, we typically have that go live button right on Master Connector Show. So you could always go the day of the show and click that go live button. But I want to close with some comments, and I like to tell a quick story. But Robin Williams, right, the iconic actor and comedian, was known for not just for his talent, but his ability to deeply connect with people. Off screen, he went out of his way to bring joy to fans, like visiting hospital patients to lift up their spirit, or quietly supporting struggling comedians early in their career. His genuine care for others remind us that true human connection is about being present, offering kindness, and making people feel valued in ways that leave lasting impacts. So, folks, let's make sure to care about others and always shine our light. See you next week. Appreciate you guys.
And you start to hear some of their challenges, and yes,
because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives